All right, so here's day number 3 of the economy picking week at Fountainhead TV in the bigger context of our 30 days of guitar lessons for you guys. So we already went over the basic technique and the basic do's and don'ts of the technique itself, and I played through a 3 notes per string scale pattern yesterday. So today it's going to be a slightly different approach, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about the finer details of the technique. So this is today's lick. So this is a very simple pattern. This is basically just a power chord. This is A is the root note, E as the perfect fifth, and then A again and E again. Right, so this is something that even if you hadn't heard of economy picking, you could still play. Sounds like the Superman theme. I think. Correct me and write me in the comments if this is what I currently think it is, the Superman theme. Anyway, so this is something you could also play with your basic sweeping technique, right? And I remember many years ago when I was just barely getting into economy picking at all and had just picked up the concept, I heard a guitar player called Shane Gibson for the first time, who did a super obscure solo album, which I bought and sought out online. And Shane is unfortunately not longer with us. But on that solo album, he played a couple of things that, along those same lines, which sounded so ridiculously fast and precise. And he would just, switch the picking direction so effortlessly. It sounded like a computer to me at that time. I didn't think it was possible to play these things. Something like that. Just faster and cleaner. and I kind of tried to emulate what he did, and I always struggled getting that same precision going and that speed. And then later on, as I got better at economy picking, it dawned on me that there's a very slight detail in the technique that made it possible for him, coming to it not from a sweeping perspective, but from a economy picking perspective, to play it that fast and effortless. And that is the following. Because in sweeping, if you take a basic 5-string sweeping pattern, because after that sweep, where you go over the strings in one direction, there's always either a legato note or an alternate pick note. And so you are used to doing that pendulum motion that comes from alternate picking. You're used to leading your pick away from the string, even just for a moment. And so if you play this pattern, our pattern today, and you want to return, you'd have a lot more ground to cover, right? And you would go away from the string, go towards the string again, and then continue. And that just fucks up the entire flow. So in economy picking, as I showed you in the last 2 days, we always want to stick to the strings as close as we possibly can. And we really, we're just glued to those fucking strings all the time. And so this is what helps us making this effortless transition from descending to ascending. And now, if you look at my index finger really closely, here's another little thing that helps. So, descending, look at my index finger. And now, I'm really close to the strings, and I'm kicking back this joint. Sorry. And now if I go to the descending one, no, I flip it back. So this motion here, this is for economy picking what for alternate picking would be what's the term that Troy Grady penned? Pick slanting. Where you have this little angle in your hand in order to change directions. That's pick slanting, and so I would be forced to do that. A similar kind of thing when changing pick directions in economy picking. But since I'm doing that just with my index finger joint here, I just don't have to use those extra muscles, and there's less fatigue, and I can just do it more effortless and fast. Right, and so that's the secret behind the flow here. And you can also see that I'm using this muting technique that I talked about in some of the other lessons. If you haven't seen that, well, you just have to go back to finding that video. I think it was in the first week, where I am basically touching all the strings all the time, but only pressing down on the fretboard on that string that I need at a specific time. It's just a very short explanation. If you want a more detailed analysis, you have to find out that video. And then we can also, once we get it up to speed, we can switch between our pattern on A and our pattern on B. Right? And that's it for today. Happy practicing with that one. Tomorrow, same technique, different concept, different approach, different lick as usual. Then we're going to be at day number 4. Yeah, day number 4. If you have any questions, comments. If you want to tap, social media. If you want to see more videos, ring the subscription bell, and obviously subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And that's it. Hit me up for Skype lessons if this is boring you and you need more, you need a bigger challenge, you need something else to break out of your creative ruts or help with your songwriting or production, all these things, then book a Skype lesson through social media, right? That's all I have to say for now. Peace. Have a great day. Bye-bye.